start with your having Tommy John surgery.
Okay.
When it was 2005. Were you scared that somehow your career was going to end right there?
Yeah, I think I was in the back of my mind. You know, being naive in college as a junior, and your goal is to get drafted. And you know, guys were telling me in different rounds where I thought I might be going, and you know, maybe my head got a little bit too big. And I don't know if you know the story about how I actually blew out. Well, I hit a water cooler after I gave up. I threw a complete game and up 2-0 going into the bottom of the 7th, and bases loaded, and going out there for the 7th inning, and I gave up a walk-off triple. And you know, I was a hothead in college and came in and hit a water cooler, and that's the last thing I've ever hit. But you know, I think that taught a lot about myself. You know, I decided that I really wanted to pursue baseball. And you know, fortunately, I still got drafted that year by the Milwaukee Brewers. Ended up turning that down to go back to college and finish my degree first. You know, and so I was able to graduate. But it taught a lot about myself, about, you know, really believing in myself, believe in the rehab process that you've gone through, you know, and work hard for what you achieve. And you know, then the A's picked me the next year, so I was very fortunate in that regard.
Did you think much about it a couple years later when you were on the All-Star team?
Tommy John?
Yeah.
You know, I think I did. I think when I remember my major league debut, I was on the phone with my parents, and just like, you know, 5 years ago, you're throwing the ball for the first time for 40 feet, thinking, how's this going to go? And you know, talking with some of the guys now that are coming back from Tommy John, even when I was with the A's, is, you know, if you work hard enough, you got to believe in and trust in your work ethic and the trainers. And you know, you see a lot of the unsuccessful stories coming away from Tommy John, and in my mind, I think a lot of that has to do with, you know, how you prepare and how you work. And I think if it's a surgery that's like a 95% success rate, and I understand that sometimes it doesn't always take or whatever, but I think if you work hard enough and prepare yourself, you should be fine. And you know, making that major league debut and in the All-Star game, was kind of have a severe injury like that, being able to come back and fight through the minor leagues, and to that point was pretty cool.
Have you talked at all to Rich Hill about it?
Yeah, I have. Actually, when I got traded over to Boston, you know, I went up to Fenway to do kind of a physical type thing, and he was up there working out and stuff. And I was talking to him, and I asked if he had started throwing, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I've been throwing for a while." I was like, "Tell me your first throw was like a shot put," you know? And he's just kind of out here, and he's like, "Yeah, definitely that." And I was like, "Yeah, that's how I was too." And so we were kind of talking about it, and I said, if you follow the guidelines that are set out in front of you, you should be fine. And you know, he's throwing the ball really well right now.
Do you think that having gone through that has helped you as a reliever? I mean, I don't know if people understand how difficult. I think it's this Rivera, Wilson, Soria, Marmol are the only pitchers that have been the regular closer for 3 consecutive years. To me, that tells me how tough it is. Do you think going through what you went through helped prepare you for the toughness?
Yeah, I think so. I think you know, it kind of instilled upon me was adding those little bits of, you know, quote, prehab into your routine is very important. And maybe those guys got that a little earlier before they got hurt. My injury was self-imposed, you know, and you know, it's a 100,000-mile tune-up, so they call it. But for me, I think that the toughness of being a closer, the toughness of being a reliever, is knowing your body. You know, you also want to go out there and do what's right for the team, but you also have to understand your body. If you need a day, you have to take a day. And you know, but for me, I always want the ball. Closers always want the ball to be out there in that pressure situation. That's what we live for. I mean, that's, you know, it's fun to us, is that pressure. I love it. And you know, I think that going through an injury like that does you know, teach you a little bit about yourself. You know, about the tenacity you need to overcome certain situations.
Now, there have been some speculation you might get traded to the Red Sox, but when it finally happened, what did you think?
You know, where Oakland is heading, I thought this was a great opportunity for me. And I remember that phone call that when Billy, you know, called, and I told him, you know, we had a long conversation, and I said, you know, I'm at a point in my career where I really don't have a say in where I play. And for me, I couldn't really honestly think of a better situation to come into. You know, being able to, with the closer's job available and a team with a rich history of competing and winning World Series and all that kind of stuff, and you know, still primed to do it this year. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity, and as a kid, that's all you want is an opportunity to win, and here right now is the best opportunity for me. When
you were a little kid, did you, when you were playing catch or pitching in games or throwing against the wall, think that you were some pitcher on the Phillies?
Kurt Schilling.
Really?
Yeah, he was I loved his mentality, aggressive. I was always on the mound, kind of thinking I'm him playing, you know, little league or whatever, and so I think that was great, like a building block where you kind of try and emulate, you know, your hero in baseball, and for me to be in the Red Sox uniform and kind of follow all these great pitchers and Papelbon included, I think it's going to be fun.